Now, defense has played a key role. It's one of those key points moving not only NATO forward, but also the European Union. So now to discuss more of what's happening here in the Baltics and Lithuania, I'm delighted to sit down with Vice-Minister of National Defense, Greta Tučkutė, who joins me now. Minister, thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
So on this important day, we're looking at 2004 as an important year for your country. It was NATO as well as EU membership. Defense, I think, is very important for Lithuania. Tell us a little bit about that journey of Lithuania into both of these big organizations.
I think for Lithuania it was really an important milestone achieved when Lithuania joined NATO and EU, because this is how we ensured our security and defense, and we secured our membership in the democratic organizations. Mm-hmm. So I think this is kind of accomplishment and declaration that we belong to that club, and of course Poland was a strong ally supporting our journey towards those organizations.
Mm-hmm. And also I think this year we've seen a lot of movement in terms of the largest NATO exercises. Look at Steadfast Defender. Part of those key components involved Lithuanian forces in Lithuania itself, Brave Griffin recently as well. How is that perceived here in Lithuania by the public? I mean, we look at it on the TV screens, we see it, but how do the Lithuanian people perceive these exercises?
I think if you look at the polls, at public polls, they obviously show that Lithuanians are strong supporters both of NATO and European Union, and this support never has diminished. And I think even with the current events that are going on, and the war is still going on, unfortunately, in Ukraine, already lasting for 2 years, Lithuanians realize how important it is to be a part of the strong unions and strong organizations, because this is the club that allows to develop and that allows to defend yourself better and more effectively.
Mm-hmm. When we talk about defense, I mean, there's a lot of people who say, yeah, that's a lot of money involved. Defense is expensive. If we're looking at NATO, more countries need to push up that GDP spending defense. Lithuania is leading that as well, some of the top ones of, I believe, almost 3%.
Yeah, almost 3%, yeah. Correct.
So if we're looking at that, though, there's also another side to that, which I think is innovation, which is technology. Tell us about some of the tangible things that have come because of more attention to defense here in Lithuania.
I think if to start with the first point that you pointed out, it's clear that it is important and vital to invest into defense if you want to develop as a successful country. So for us, it is important to understand what kind of innovations are in the field of defense, how to integrate them into our capabilities. And the war in Ukraine showed that innovations in defense, they are crucial and vital if you want to succeed in defeating your adversary that threats your security and defense. So for us, it's important to understand what kind of innovations are in place. And these innovations are, of course, the UAVs, the drones, the anti-UAVs, lasers, sophisticated technologies used for the dressing up the modern soldier. And all these kind of innovations are being produced, by the way, in Lithuania. They are integrated into the components that are being developed here. And we are, of course, as a country, we are trying to boost our defense industry as well and to help it develop, because the security of supply is also important when you speak about the whole defense picture, and it's a part of it.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned also, I mean, it's one thing of investing in it, but I think it also is based on talented people. You need that talent. I think that's something you have here very much of in Lithuania. And it's been noticed. I want to touch on this recent document declaration that was signed of the plan of Rheinmetall, one of Germany's and one of Europe's biggest defense contractors. opening a munitions factory here, the 155 millimeter caliber artillery shells. Tell us how that's come about and what that signals to not just Lithuania, but I think to the world.
I think it's the opening of this kind of important and big production site here in Lithuania on 155 caliber, as you well noted. It's very important also in terms of the investment of other ally company coming here to Lithuania and viewing this as a good place to invest. It's also a part of the big picture of our collaboration and close cooperation with Germany, for instance, because as you may know, Brigade is going to be present here very soon in Lithuania. And also, it's, as you well noted as well, we have talented people. We are a modern and progressive country that in case of important investment, we are doing everything to have it as quickly as possible, all the regulations and rules embedded so that the investor could be smoothly coming into the country. And I need to note that during this process of negotiations and discussions with Rheinmetall, all the institutions were involved very strongly under the leadership of the Prime Minister herself. And when it comes to important solutions and important strategic decisions, then it's a good also example how all the stakeholders were working together for the same goal. And for us, it is also important to say that this kind of investment and development, it's communicating to the internal market of the European Union, saying that here are the two member states that are able to agree on something and to do something together, jointly investing into important development of the defense industries. And also its communication outside towards our adversaries and aggressors, saying that here there is an important investment being done on the border, on the frontier line, and this kind of investments would be protected as well by the whole alliance and by the whole European Union.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that will be my follow-up on that, because you said, this is a signal also potentially for other large companies, other countries potentially to also invest more in defense here in Lithuania. So how would you see it, how much the European membership and the single market and Lithuania's role in that contribute to this deal coming forward, right? Because that was also significant.
So European Union has already developed a number of vehicles and instruments that are helping to develop defense industries in the European Union. And one of these kind of instruments is European Defense Fund that is effectively boosting and ramping up the development of the defense industries. The newly proposed European defense industry strategy, it's something also that is helping to structure and to see how European Union is looking at the defense industries. And I think there are many other important initiatives that are on the way, showing that for the European Union, defense industry is not anymore something that is, a bit kind of stigmatized and not very clear. Now everything is clear, because everybody understands that from the peacetime production we need to move on to wartime production, and we had already actually to move towards this war production already long time ago, because everybody understands that we did not enough for the defense and for the development of our capabilities to defend ourselves with the defense production that is produced inside of our communities. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to use all the possible instruments, and also regionally speaking with one voice and saying that here on this side of the European Union we need as well more attention towards the production of the defense industry and development of the defense industry. And I think these kind of initiatives as production of development of the big defense industry production site here in Lithuania is also a strong signal towards the European Union's institutions, showing that we are capable here as well to do something.
Mm-hmm. But also, how would you respond to the, let's say, some criticisms that Europe, as in the European Union, was very much an economic goal, that Genesis came to prevent war. Now it seems a lot of those institutions are slowly adapting to a kind of security parameters. You also have NATO layered on top of that. Some might worry that if we have another area of the European Union, more of if we look at the European Defense Fund, if we're looking potentially also at security policy, if we're looking at the European Peace Facility, it doesn't seem that it's very lean in terms of what it needs to be. How do you look at that? Can the European Union really properly do defense, or is it a matter of time, or how do you see it?
I would not agree that they are slowly moving. I think on the opposite, knowing the phases of the development of different policies and different initiatives within the European Union, I think what has been done during the last 2 years, it's very significant, because the course shifted dramatically, radically towards the other direction, showing that for defense, defense for the European Union matters a lot. And I think as long as it is complementary with our NATO's goals, I think it's very welcoming. It should be sustained, it should be encouraged, and should be moving even stronger towards that direction. Mm-hmm. Because European Union in its hands has many instruments and knows, has the full picture of the financial situation of the whole European Union. And if consolidated finances are directed towards the development of the defense industries, for instance, sites, it's really a much stronger and much more boosting possibility for the industries to develop than just empty policies that do not have money behind it. So I think European Union is really, it's good that European Union is moving towards this side, and us as countries knowing very well the whole situation and experiencing the threats from just behind the border, we can also be vocal in this area and see how we can use the whole situation for the sake of defending the whole European Union and the whole alliance. Mm-hmm.
So from your perspective then, if we're looking at Vilnius and the region, defense and the EU, that works, that is working in your mind?
That is working so far, but it can work even more. I mean that, for instance, European Defense Funds funds could be also maybe more employed in this area and in this region. So far we have already some companies that are successfully participating in the competition, but still, as our companies are rather small and medium enterprises, they are participating in the SMEs role more often than in the roles of the equal partners. So for us, the goal would be that more of these funds would be landing here in order to ensure the security of supply and development of defense industries on this part of the European Union.
Mm-hmm. Also, we talked about innovation in terms of also NATO, back to NATO. NATO has its own accelerator, Diana, also test centers here. That's something very new, came out of the Madrid summit, is now scaling up. So how is that contributing to your country in terms of potential for smaller companies, ideas? How's that been so far?
We have a number of Diana centers here in Lithuania. They are very active. The ideas are really developing in surprisingly different areas of innovations where, for instance, artificial intelligence is employed very strongly, or some of the solutions that combining the drones, artificial intelligence and analysis are being merged into solutions. I mean, there are interesting ideas that are arising here, but I think with Diana, then it's important to make sure that those ideas do not die in the development stage. They need to have other vehicles, financial vehicles being employed that would help them to go through this Death Valley towards the successful development of the production of these kind of products. So, of course, we are looking at this very closely. It's the Ministry of Economy and Innovations that is managing the Diana presence here in Lithuania, and us as the Ministry of Defense, we are looking closely at what kind of solutions are appearing, how we can employ them into and integrate into our capabilities development, and definitely we are very happy to see that there are many initiatives where people are taking those opportunities and using them for, and of course it's increasing our intellectual potential and our competencies of the country when there are these kind of initiatives.
Yeah, so I think ultimately it's good. Defense provides economic opportunity, innovation, so really important. Minister, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for this meeting.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. And Sasha Farbach from Vilnius, Lithuania.